Hey, Dan Meyer here, and today we're going to talk about how to make financial models that matter. So this is something that takes me back to my time at Wells Fargo. I used to work in a lot of financial modeling, and I've done that through every business I've launched. I constantly look at my numbers and crunch them to make sure that I'm going where I want to go as far as profitability. I help clients do that. We have several VAs that do a lot of number crunching for our clients, and this really is something that I think is super important, that you have to be able to project where you want to go. You have to predict if you're going to get there. You have to be able to forecast what you need to do to be able to make decisions that make you profitable. So when I really think about financial models, I think about how they're used to forecast companies' financials, to allow you to make better financial decisions. This is really, really important, especially if you have a business where you're trying to grow it or you're just launching it. You have to really have some financial models that you can plug in some assumptions, and then as reality hits, make adjustments that continue to allow you to make sure that you focus things that will give you an ROI and stop doing or eliminate or fix things that are costing you money. You have to make these kind of choices to be successful. You want to calculate for new projects, and you want to do budgets, compare to other businesses in your industry, figure out where you're at. You want to make sure that you're accounting for future circumstances based on existing data. So you take your existing data, any historical data you have, and you model it. Most of us do this in Microsoft Excel. It's not that hard. You can actually download templates for Excel to do financial modeling. If you want to get more creative, you can start using different applications, different tools out there to do predictive models. But most people just basically, you need to figure out, this is how much money that I have, that I think I'm going to have, that I think I'm going to need, and this is the tweaks I make to that model to make sure I get to where I want to go. Really, it's super important. And number one, the most important is keep it truthful, right? Your data has to be realistic and only make good and plausible assumptions. A lot of people do with a situation where they make worst case, base case, and best case, right? So you actually build three models. You build your base case based on what you think is going to happen. Then you put a model above that saying what happens if everything goes right or if things exceed expectations. And you put one below that, which is what happens if you just fail to meet a lot of your assumptions. If a lot of things don't work out, where are you going to be financially? Some businesses can weather the storm and get by on their worst case scenarios. Most of us can't. Most of us actually think we're going to have the best case, and even the base case isn't good enough. So you want to basically think, what is your base case to make a small profit or break even? And then what happens if you make adjustments to that model to show that you're going to be profitable or have a loss? And figure out what are the things that change the measurements, what moves the needle, how many sales, cost of inventory, delivery time. So again, keep it truthful. Make sure that you're using plausible assumptions. What I do when I build a spreadsheet is I always have a list of assumptions, things that I think are going to happen that can be changed, that can vary. And when I get new variables, I plug them into the model. So build that base case, but build in some variables that give you the worst case and the best possible case, as well as the base case. Also keep it simple, right? So have a model where you have everything in it as you go and as you plug things out. But basically you want to have a simplified version of it, right? Complex information should be simplified to make it easy to follow and not confusing, right? Sometimes you put too many variables in things. And yeah, we want to account for them and track them, but we don't want to put them all in our model. So maybe we pick the 2 or 3 most likely things that will cause us to be more profitable, and the 2 or 3 things that are most likely to cause us to be less profitable in the end, and put those in our model. And then everything else we kind of keep on a separate tracker that we then can plug into the model when they start to happen, if they start to happen, right? Keep it simple. What are the 2 or 3 things that make you profitable? What are the 2 or 3 things that would make you not profitable? Number of sales, number of customers, average ticket cost, projected waste, things that could come up that will cost more money than you expected. Kind of figure a couple of those in, put them in this, keep it simple, right? And make it consistent. Check this every week, every couple of weeks, every month. I would suggest that if you're a new business or you're trying to grow a small business, give yourself a placeholder to spend a half an hour every other Friday on your model, right? So twice a month, go in and check your model to see if it's consistent, to see if you have to make any tweaks to it to adjust for things that have not happened the way you thought they would, right? So make sure that when you have all your numbers, the formulas, the column names, and so forth should be consistent throughout all your models. So you start with a template, and then you carry it over every 2 weeks or at least once a month. You look at it over a year's period, month by month. You can look at it week by week, and give yourself a sense of your trending, but make it consistent, right? Have a standardization when it comes to what numbers you're pulling, what formulas you're using, what you're calling each column of data, how frequently you go through and update the data. Make sure that that model is consistent. Super important. Next, you want to follow good designs and aesthetics, right? It's got to look easy to use, especially if it's being used by somebody besides you. You don't want to have a lot of code in there, a lot of things that are making people figure things out that they're not ready for it. You don't want to have a lot of things that are hard to understand, that are abbreviated. One thing that used to drive me crazy at Wells Fargo, and is true of any organization that's of any certain size, is you have an ABC of team names and group names and division names and different things that mean nothing to anybody outside the organization. You have the names of systems that could have abbreviations. It's like an alphabet soup of stuff. If you've worked in a big corporation and you've worked with numbers and financial models, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, you want to make it accessible. So if you ever share this, if you ever hire somebody who's going to work on this with you, if you're going to outsource this to somebody else, you want to make sure that it's simple and easy to follow. The next thing is you want to create an effective presentation, right? You're going to have to show your financials to investors, to shareholders, to partners, to people that you're going to get credit from. So you want to have a model that shows how you're going to make money, but you want to keep it simple and you want to make it an effective presentation, right? So I always think about this. Whenever I present data, I always want to have 2 or 3 visuals, right? Maybe 4 max, right? You know, a pie chart, a line graph, some kind of thing to show people the big picture of what's going to happen. Then a couple bullet points that explain each model. And have it all on one page. This is why business dashboards are so effective, right? You don't want to have multiple tabs on a spreadsheet. You don't want to have a bunch of PowerPoint slides. You want to have it all in one easy to understand view that you can speak to and give people ideas of what's there, but on their own, they could probably figure it out if you weren't explaining it to them. So things that are well labeled, that are easy to read, that are easy on the eye to make sense of. Think about how to communicate your model. So your model's got to be simple. It's got to be something that you have the ability to show best case, base case, and worst case. It's got to be something that projects over time. It's got to be something that has some history to it. And it's got to be something that people can make sense of. If you do all that, then you're going to have a really effective financial model. And I think about financial models, they're as much for you to help you stay on task and make sure that you're going to hit your targets, as well as for you to share with people around you that you need to have their help, whether it be financially or support, or you're going to have them work with you or have work for you. You want to kind of show where things are going and make sure people are on the same page. A good, easy to understand financial model will help. So if you need help with this, if you don't have the time or the ability to do your own financial modeling, but you know you need it, you can hire a VA. Here at Sonic VA, we hope that you can use us to focus on what you do best by hiring us to do all the rest, right? So go to sonicva.com, 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 and there you can learn about what we can do to help you do, among other things, build financial models. We can help you build a visual for it if you want that dashboard approach. We can help you prepare the data so you can explain your business and the financial aspects of your business in a story to people. We can help you make videos about your business. We can help you create graphic designs. We can help you manage your social media. We can do all kinds of things that help you be more consistent, to deliver more clarity, and build more certainty between you and your clients by having a VA help you do things that allow you to hit your financial targets. So I hope that helps. That's my talk for today. Basically, I want you to really just kind of think about how you get started with your financial model. There are thousands of videos out there about how to make a financial model. There are thousands of templates you can use to be able to start building the model. But the bottom line is I want you to think about how important it is that you need a model that you put time into and you're consistent with, whether it be you doing the actual work or you hire a VA for it. That's what you want to do. So I want to thank you for your time. Now I encourage you to all go out there and analyze some financial data.